ThePostMillennial.com says, heavily armed Antifa militants stand guard outside Texas kid-friendly drag show. This is the stuff that's supposed to divide us. I guarantee you that the people who do not want kids exposed to sexualized drag shows are being screwed over largely at the same rate as the people who are dressing up as Foot Clan ninjas from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and calling themselves Antifa and standing against them. They're both being taken advantage of by the system. They're both being harmed, but they have a divisive issue that strikes like lightning and creates irreparable connection. People have a lot of reasons why. The people on the left say it is your right to take a 6-month-old baby or a 1-year-old or whatever, a 3-year-old, because I took a class, an undergraduate class, that said gender identity was created by John Money, and it's this new thing, and it's really cool, and all the cool kids like it, and TV puts out movies and shows and streaming programs, and it's really cool, and it just feels so emotionally true, and all these things. And so they push this, normalize it, and then they say, now we have to bring little kids into this. This is a sacred ritual to let 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds have men and whatever go around and sexually dance in front of 2 or 3-year-olds, and that's considered to be, look how transgressive we are. Look, this is so edgy. It's so avant-garde. I mean, my country's going to hell. Crime is going through the roof. Our kids are being poisoned by garbage products that are making obscene profits for people, and vaccines and food that makes people sick, diabetic at the age of 2 or 3. But hey, I can numb out from that and feel like I'm a part of this trendy, hip, cool movement of bringing my 2-year-old to a drag bar for sexualized dancing. That's cool. Everybody on Instagram does it. I want to be cool too. I want to be popular. I want to go on TV or something, or I want to feel like I'm kind of with those people. So people with that kind of brain style, right? They like that crap. And then the other side, they can be a little hateful too, and the other way sometimes. But their instinct is to say, if you're doing that, we got a problem with you, and I'm not going to have a conversation. I'm going to protest and protest and protest. Right? People feel that way. So you have an impasse between those two different people, but both of those groups are being screwed over by endless wars, by lies that create poverty in our country, by a perpetual drug war, by a perpetual war on occupations through the form of occupational licensure and regulations. Everyone's being taken advantage of for multinational corporations, but they can't unite together because they get these lightning rod things that just emotionally deny any coalition. And united you stand, divided you fall. And how do you fall into tyranny but through falling prey to movements to create division where there should be unity? And I'm not saying, and that's why it's tricky, because I think fighting for a kid-friendly environment is a hill to die on, right? So I'm not saying, that these issues are not important. But it's like almost impossible when you cut up, if people are united naturally, if someone's taking advantage, if a group of people, corporations and government agencies are taking advantage of the same group of people, how can they possibly unite together when you cut that pie up in so many different slices, otherizing one another? How? How in the world can they push that stuff away from them when there's no numbers, there's no energy, there's no cohesion, there's no unity against the tyranny? How? I mean, that's what we talked about before, that in the older times when they had slavery in various countries, but in America, when they had it, there was a common practice. They would have indentured servants who could be white there were folks who were enslaved who were Native Americans, and there were folks who were from Africa who were enslaved. And the masters who would own these different people groups represented on their plantations or operations or what have you would stir up hatreds of one another, of these folks, so that they would hate each other, that the white servants or slaves would hate Native Americans, or the Native Americans would hate Africans. They would try to create collectivist tribalism and division such that they could never unite and say, you know what, if we all just work together and put aside the things that feel very horrible and realize that we have a bigger problem together, which is that we're all being taken advantage of by that guy over there, then that all stops. Right? Now, the problem is that at some point when societies fall apart so much, they do get into a revolutionary fervor where they go overthrow the power, but then because they do it in a violent way, they just reestablish dictator type authoritarianism in another form again. So you don't want to go the revolutionary way. We want to go the Christian way. The Christian way is where we build bridges based on personhood. Bridges based on our mutual humanity and being made in the image of God, recognizing that we all have free will because God respects our free will and he has free will and he made us in his image to have free volition, and that he doesn't force his ways onto us. Therefore, we cannot force our ways onto others. That framework allows for a lot of creative work together. Because when you have that framework as the foundation of a culture, then you can do great things together.